Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of the podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am really excited to be talking with Wynn Charles. And let me tell you a little bit about Wynn. She was born with cerebral palsy and had defied the odds by becoming an author. Her memoir, I Win, is an amazing story of how she remembers her life through the years of having a condition called CP. As a competitor in the Kona Ironman Triathlon and a motivational speaker, Wynn truly is an inspiration to many. Today, she tours the country speaking to schools and institutions to raise awareness about cerebral palsy and living a full life no matter what holds you back. She is an advocate for the veterans across the world also. Today, I thought a great topic would be to talk about achieving your dreams with a disability. So please join me in welcoming my guest, Wynn Charles.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, Vicki. And I'll just be straight out honest with you guys. The reason why I'm doing this recording in a back place is because I had a full-on spinal fusion again on April 23rd. So let's just let the cat out of the bag. The elephant got its bubble busted because you're like, why are you in a back place? Now, people have heard me sitting up. People have heard me. I've been on over 100 podcast interviews. And I made my back surgery public knowledge. People knew I was having it, but this is the aftermath of me recovering from back surgery. And so here we go.
And, I think it's a great thing to do because someone that is in your position might say, oh, well, I had back surgery. I'm going to just not do anything for the next 90 days. And
now they in general want you up. They want you moving. Moving to the best of your abilities under spinal precautions, which is no twisting, no bending, no lifting. And lifting, I can barely lift anything right now because of my bone and back, but that will eventually go away. And so the reason why I'm here, and that's lovely, get up. And for those of you that know where I am, which is Phoenix, Arizona, you know that, and even for those of you who have been to Phoenix, Arizona in the summer, you know that it gets hot like there's no tomorrow. And the fact of that is, I want this back place off so bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what your story is. You gave us the secret of my easy first question, which is you live now in Phoenix, Arizona, but talk to us about what, as a young person with cerebral palsy and issues with movement and all the things that comes with it. What was it like as a child, and how did that build the character that is making you the individual you are today, the strong individual?
Basically, what I came to find out is God loved my mom, but she didn't tell me that I had a disability until I was in 7th grade. She mainstreamed me from preschool all the way on. I was mainstreamed with my first degree, which is in education and early childhood education, and I'm working on my second degree. And so I didn't even know what a special ed class was until high school, let alone individualized education plan, IEP. And I just was trying to keep up with my able-bodied friends, but I realized at the age of 6, when I was trying to kick a soccer ball and the soccer ball goes sideways, I almost fall over. I kick it with my predominant leg. I almost fall over. Then I look at my able-bodied friends who are neurotypical, and the soccer ball goes straight. They don't fall over. So I am the figured out kid who figured out something is wrong with my body because I'm watching, and I'm always watching. I used to always watch able-bodied do, I still do, watch able-bodied walk, watch able-bodied run, watch able-bodied do anything and everything. And I'm like, yeah, something's wrong with my body. So by the time, well, at what age do you typically put your kids on the soccer field? You typically put your kids on the soccer field age 6, age 7, age 8. So by the time I was, and my parents wanted me to be like my friends. So I was lucky enough to be mainstreamed. I mean, I learned how to ski adaptively at the age of 3.
Oh, wow.
At the age of 3, I was skiing. My dad was helping me. By the time I turned 6, I was, my dad had signed me up for the soccer field, for the city soccer team. And of course, all my friends were on it. So I'm like, let's follow friends here. And so at that, and of course, the coach knew I had cerebral palsy. So at that time, I was really discovering what my body, what my limitations were. And as I got older, cerebral palsy hasn't stopped me. The only thing that's stopped me now is becoming back surgery, like it's always had in the past. I mean, I've spent so many summers recovering from back surgery, recovering from not only back surgery, but other surgeries due to cerebral palsy. And I'm so used to working remotely from a bed or working remotely from a wheelchair that it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's just the way you do things. So how do you, I mean, I just think of all the people that complain about just little things. How do you stay motivated and have this resiliency that says, you know what, body, I'm just going to make you do what I need to do. I'm not going to be down.
Exactly. Well, I my faith is really, really strong, and there were a couple days in the hospital that I didn't even think I would go see my home again, which that was scary. The scariest day was me rising in pain, and not because of my back, my back was fine. It was just me rising pain because I had, fortunately, after this surgery, got a twisted bowel. And in 2006, the surgery itself almost killed me because I got allergic to the anesthesia that they gave me.
No.
And so somehow, I landed up 3 days in the ICU with that one. So complications after surgery on my middle name. But with the twisted bowel, the only way you can calm a twisted bowel down and get it to untwist is by sticking an NG tube down. And it was ironic that I said to the nurses in the hospital, and this was a hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona. I live in Phoenix, but the surgery was done up in Scottsdale. So I have amazing medical care now. Back in Colorado, I didn't have such amazing medical care, and that's why I moved down to Phoenix, because I wanted a better quality of life / I wanted more amazing medical care. But it was so funny because I had to advocate for myself. As sick as I was, I made my nurses sit me up at the edge of bed because my stomach was so distended that they couldn't figure out why. They couldn't. And so I said, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And for those who know me publicly and in my personal life, they know that I have a high tolerance for pain. And so I said, you guys, you got to call X-ray now. And at that time, I'm like, oh, now what's wrong? After I got pneumonia, a friend of mine called pneumonia on me because she heard me wheezing away, and she heard all the signs of pneumonia, and she's racing out the door and says to one of the nurses, I think we got to get x-rays on when I think she has a pneumonia. It turns out I did. And pneumonia and me are fast friends just because of I have a double weakened lungs due to cerebral palsy, and I'm also asthmatic. So pneumonia and me are quite common. But the scariest thing was at 11 o'clock at night, getting an NG tube stuck down my nose. And the problem with the NG tube is they can't knock you out for it, because those of your listeners who've ever experienced a loved one with an NG tube or had one themselves, they will know they make you swallow it down. They make you literally swallow it down. And I have a high gag reflex as well due to my cerebral palsy. So I'm like, oh, this is great. People get to see me gagging at 11 o'clock at night, and as I swallow this thing down. And one of the nurses says, I don't feel comfortable doing it, of course. So they had to bring another nurse in who was more experienced in putting NG tubes in. And I'm like, great. All I want to do is go back to bed now that we figured this out. I'm still on drugs due to my back surgery. And I had two people come and see me the next day because I was sending texts saying, look, I'm on a G tube. What do we do now? And I remember looking up at a person who happened to be one of the leaders of my church. And I remember looking up at her. First of all, she was with me for 15 minutes, day one, April 23rd. Well, that was a story in itself. How she stuck herself, how the church stuck themselves into the recovery room, I don't even know. And so, but I remember looking up at her and me, I'm flat on my back with an NG tube in, and I said, I don't want to feel helpless. I don't want to feel helpless. And she looks back at me and said, Win, you're not helpless. You're going to get over this. And turns out I did. Turns out within 48 hours, the bowel had untwisted itself. Otherwise, I would have had another surgery to untwist it. And so, by the grace of God, the bowel untwisted itself. But I'm like, great. Great. I come out of a 5.5 hour back surgery and I have complications at the yin yang. And then the hospital, they said to me, they go, well, you're going to rehab on oxygen and you're going home on oxygen too. I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't go in there with oxygen tank behind me. No, I'm not. So I went to rehab without oxygen, but that was very frightening too, that they said, you're going home on oxygen, you're going to rehab on oxygen. I said, no, I'm not. I'm going home with a back brace, but I'm going home breathing normal air. And I'm like, you guys don't even know me from a hole in the wall. And so, as that as I was advocating for myself. I also had able-bodied people advocating for me.
Right,
I mean, I had my chosen family marching in and out of that rehab center, marching in and out of that hospital room like there was no tomorrow, because they knew that I had no biological family to advocate for me. So
wow.
my chosen family stepped up and did what they could, along with myself advocating for my needs.
So, what made you want to do, if we could switch gears a little bit, what made you want to do the triathlon?
What made me want to do the triathlon? Well, it wasn't really a want. It was someone else's need to do a triathlon. And when I say someone else's need, right after my mom died, my cousin calls me and says, I have a surprise for you. I'm the type, I'm like, oh, just cut to the chase. Don't tell me you have a surprise. I mean, just cut to the chase. And it was her desire to do a triathlon again. And so the only way that she could get in to Kona, well, there were many ways, but the way that she decided was through the Ironman Foundation. And of course, her being able-bodied, she needed a guinea pig to help help her win the dang thing. And of course, because her story is not powerful enough, so she needed a token who had cerebral palsy to help her get in. And so it was more someone else's need than my own. But I want to go after I recover and after I do this. I'm still on a triathlete team based out of Sarasota, Florida, believe it or not. And they help the disabled do triathlons, and they are Be Try for Us, formerly known as care to try, and they're phenomenal. And the reason why they started this is because they wanted to give back to the community in Florida and help the disabled. And if you guys look up Rick and Nick Hoyt, you'll see Rick and Nick Hoyt typically do marathons. They have, since they are both deceased. Dick died before Rick, but Rick died of complications due to cerebral palsy. And they started this when Rick was 10. They started doing the Boston Marathon. And also, if you guys look up Anthony's Angels, they're another marathon team. Also, for those of you in the Georgia area and in the Atlanta area, if you guys look up Walk with KP, Walk with KPC, Kyle Pease has cerebral palsy. Brother Grant works with him. Dynamic duo. I fortunately got to meet these two. I came very close to meeting Rick and Nick Hoyt at the time, but they went to Kona. We were very close to meeting them actually, but the timing didn't work out. And so, unfortunately, the main leaders in the field, Rick and Nick Hoyt, have passed away, but we have picked up the torch they started, and now it's Anthony's Angels, it's Walk with KP, it's team. I'm on the team that win, which I did it independently before I joined this phenomenal triathlete team, Be Try For Us, out of Sarasota, Florida. And how those guys met me is that I was doing I was doing it all privately with my teammate, and then by the time we went to the Kona Ironman, we got kicked off. You need to do the swim, bike, and run in a certain amount of time. Well, we got kicked off the bike course, and my teammate goes, "This is difficult. This is hard." In the middle of the bike course, and I'm like, "You're the one that wanted to do this. You're the one that wanted to do this." She wanted to win Kona. I wanted to raise awareness for cerebral palsy. So it was more someone's need than asking me for what I wanted. And so I still want to win the Kona Ironman, but and the time I go back, it's going to be more raising awareness about cerebral palsy, plus winning the Kona Ironman.
So time is flying by, and I want to be respectful of your time. So what would be just a couple tips that you would give to the audience about, in their business, in their lives, about being able to be resilient and not letting things stop you from achieving whatever your goals are?
Well, number one, I would say, if you're in major trouble, seek counseling, because the last thing I want to hear about is you complaining. Seek counseling, whether it's a business coach or actual counselor, or a priest, or a lay chaplain, or technically a therapist, but seek counseling and get support for those stumbling blocks. I mean, if you're having stumbling blocks, just get support.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, and just briefly, what do you do with the veterans to be an advocate?
A lot of people don't know this, and the reason why I say I'm a huge advocate of the veterans is because I am a granddaughter of a veteran. So my dad's dad was in World War II. And I like to support not only cerebral palsy, but other disabilities other than my own, because we all need help.
Yeah, yeah. And to know that you're not alone, I think is really important. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I'm learning through this whole back surgery thing is I'm not alone.
Yeah, yeah. You have your faith, you have your church group, you
Yep,
have your audience.
I can just go into all. And the other thing I would say is when you are having challenges in your life, tell people so they know how to help you.
Yeah.
Make it public. I made my back surgery public. I mean, I had the first one without a podcast, without YouTube. So I made this one public so that people would know where when was and how they could help. And so that's what I'm saying. If you're stuck, get help.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a surgery and you're trying to work, you need help with. And I had one for years. I've always had an assistant too. She happens to be my BFF, but I've hired her to be my assistant, and she did a great job. So we can't, and people will say to me all the time, "Oh, Winnie, you have cerebral palsy. It's okay for you to ask for help." No, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. And I'm the type, I'll say, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I don't need help." In fact, I told my church family that, and they go, "Yeah, right, you will." We don't believe that. We don't believe that. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you don't need help. No, we'll take it one step further. Thank you very much, and give your help. And I'm so grateful they did, because they were at one point able-bodied runners for me, because I got stuck because I was in a hospital setting, and because I was in a rehab setting. When you push a call button, even though this is supposed to respond, they half the time get so used to those call buttons, they just block them out.
Yeah.
So that's why I made my back surgery public. That's why I told people, so people could come help me if needed. And of course, help us. So that's why I'm saying, just ask for help. I mean, this is coming from a woman that's now got a back brace on for at least 6 weeks. So in the middle of 6 weeks. But here I am doing a podcast interview. Yes, asking for help is not a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
It's not.
Good advice. All right, for those of you that want to get to know a little bit more about Win, I'm going to share my screen. As you know, those that are just listening, you should have been prepared for this, but go grab a paper and pencil if you're not. If you want to try to connect with Win, I will give you the contact information. Her website is ceodisability.buzzsprout.com. Again, that's ceodisability.buzzsprout.com. On LinkedIn, you can find her with her name, Win Charles, all one word. And on YouTube, if you just click on the link that's provided here, the link will also be in my YouTube notes. Vicki Noethling, please subscribe, as well as my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. And I'm going to turn it over to Wynn to just give you some insights as to what you'll find when you go on her website to learn more about disabilities and accessibility. So Wynn, go ahead.
If you Google Win at Life, you will find my podcast. And if you also type in winatlife.webelieve.com, that is my main website. And you will find my books, you will find my podcast, you will find other podcast appearances, you will find everything else on that website. But if you just type in Win at Life to any podcast by you guys, or just Google my name, you'll find me.
Yeah.
You'll find a whole SEO section on me.
Awesome. Well, Wynn, I really appreciate you spending some time and working through your pain. I know you're still in pain, but I really appreciate you sharing your insights about, being resilient, but also really giving us permission to ask for help. I think we just need to remember that. Ask for help, not a sign of weakness.
Yeah, ask for help, you guys. And this is coming from a woman who wants to ask for a little less help right now, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and I've accepted. I put myself through this back pain, and so it will go away soon. And just ask for help.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Wynn. As I remind everyone, life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.